talk about some of the people. Let's take you up to the last Roy's location where you are, still are. I mean, you still got the building. You had everybody and their uncle coming in to see you. One reason was the Down Yonder, right? The Down Yonder was one of the first kind of music places.
They must have been there about 2 years, maybe.
Yeah, Down Yonder, and I can't remember. I mean, I'm going to sleep now. But it was one of the few country music places downtown Maryville where if you went in, you could actually come out and you didn't get shot or cut or, anything like that. It's a good place to go. And a lot of famous people went through. They discovered this man in his store, and all of a sudden, you had stars hanging out in your store. Sam Bush, people like that. Tell us those stories.
A lot of those guys would work 2 days. Actually, they had entertainment, I think, 7 days a week.
It's a great place. It was a great place to go.
And it was only, 4 or 5 doors from my door. And those guys would lay over and hung out at the store a lot. And Ricky Skaggs was a sideman back then. Sam Bush. There's a group called New Grass Revival, and that was John Cowan, Jerry Douglas, Ricky. Let's see, Sam Bush, and Sam Bush was, I guess, considered about the greatest mandolin player around.
Oh yeah.
Now he works for big money. But Sam Bush walked in, and one of my boys, not this one, the other one, he played the mandolin some, and had a little L5 mandolin, and at that time we was not into big money, I sold a few mandolin, but I definitely didn't have a Gibson. But it looked like a Gibson, and Sam Bush walked in the door, and that mandolin was laying there, and Roy Jr. had took scissors and cut out the Gibson logo and taped it on the headstock.
Works and saves thousands of dollars all in one fell swoop.
Sam Bush walks in and naturally he's going to pick it up, and Sam Bush reached over and picked the mandolin up, and I think Roy Jr. seen him do it, and he was too embarrassed to say anything. So Sam looked at it and just laid it down real quietly. Didn't say anything to anybody.
But they sort of spread the word, though, to other people, and pretty soon you never knew who was going to be in that store, and it wasn't just,
We had a lot of what they wanted.
Yeah, you did.
I was surprised that, you'd think they would go back to the bluegrass department, but they was into black music. New Grass Revival was. They would say, you got any black gospel? And they would mention names. And sometimes we would, sometimes we get it for them. But the bass player, if you've seen the early New Grass Revival, the bass player's head went like this. With every note, his head bounced back and forth. John works by himself now, but later he was booked in at the Palace Theater, and Steve Wildsmith called him. This was within the last couple of years, I guess. Steve Wildsmith called him. He said, "I want to ask you a few questions since you're coming to town." And John Calvin said, "Before you ask me any questions, I've got a question for you." And Steve said, "Okay." And he said, "Is that Cool Record Shop still in town?"